really, because there is no one most suitable way of giving dawah. What works for one person will not work for the next person. But one of the things which we decided is that it's got to be by example, and it's got to be in English. Because one of the things which I notice, and it really, not only as an educator but as someone who's, I only speak English, and I am extremely envious of everybody who speaks more than one language. But I read so many dawah leaflets and all that where the English is appalling, and people will look at it and just put it in the bin. They will not read it. It really does have to be in very good English. And my thought is just ban Urdu in the mosques. Sorry, just put that in there. Okay. I also think that we need to get away from the idea of the converts, the reverts, the perverts, whatever you want to call us. Get away from this notion that we are the only people to whom dawah has been given. We need to consider that everybody, doesn't matter which home you're born into, everybody has to make the conscious decision to embrace Islam when they're old enough. 15, 16, 17, 18, you have to decide to be a Muslim. You do not inherit your deen from your parents and grandparents. Just because your father was a Muslim doesn't mean that you are a Muslim. You have to make that decision, and I think we need to broaden this and say we have to give dawah to everybody, to get the message across to everybody, because our youngsters do not know their Islam. We have to give them the dawah so that they can make this decision to be Muslims, to live as Muslims, and they can make that because their parents are not around, their grandparents are not around to take them to the mosque, to make them fast during Ramadan, but they make that conscious decision out of their understanding. How can efforts of different people and organisations be coordinated? Do they need to be coordinated? I think there's a huge problem, and we have to have an awareness check that coordination generally in Muslim communities doesn't work. You know, there are so many groups. There is this group and that group, all claiming to be representative. I think opportunities for networking are more important than coordination, where we can share good practice and take what we feel will work for us and leave the rest. But when the minute you get one group or one organisation coordinating, other people will say, oh, they're just pushing an agenda. So do we really need to be coordinated? We didn't think so. And lastly, just very quickly, actually, sorry, just a bit of caution, the thing about using the media and cinema and all that sort of thing. Word of warning, guaranteed 10 years time, 15 years time, 20 years time, there will be an actor on screen portraying Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam if we go down this route. Really, let's remember what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about following the ways of the Jews and the Christians, so much so that if one goes down a rabbit hole, we will try and follow them. We really have to be very cautious about this and make sure we don't forget our deen in the effort to try and get people to embrace the deen. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Where do we stand today? Has faith entered our hearts? Do we have a sincere intention in our minds and our hearts?
I think it's the duty of everyone, and if we fail all not to do it, then there's something wrong with us. All of us will be sinners.